Okay, so welcome and thanks to everybody who's tuning in for this, which is part 2 of our live Diddy Kong Racing playthrough. If you've missed the previous stream yesterday, then there is a copy uploaded to YouTube, so you might want to go back and watch that fully before we move on. If not, for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, yesterday we completed 2 of the worlds, and tonight we're going to be trying to complete another 2 worlds fully. So that's all of the races, all of the silver coin challenges, the boss races, the battle mode as well in each of the arenas. So a quick check-in for those that have managed to tune in early. Quintin Saville, good to see you. Noble 11, welcome back, and welcome back to Fiona Lee as well. Martin EZ, again, thanks for tuning in so early. Kitsune Metal Reloaded, always good to see you as well. So again, like I did yesterday, what I'll be doing is I'll be coming back and reading some of the comments for the chat as I'm taking a break in between each of the races. But when I'm actually racing, I'll be trying to focus and concentrate so that I can not make many mistakes. But one thing I would say as well is just to remind you, this is not going to be a sort of quick playthrough. It's not going to be a speed run by any means. It's really just an opportunity just to sit back and relax, play some Diddy Kong Racing, and just enjoy the game really. So for the next world, we'll go straight into the snow themed world.
Hello friend, select your vehicle. Abracadabra.
And these should be relatively straightforward, I'd imagine. Although the walrus boss can be quite tricky. Mr. Ouch, good to see you too. Salvador, he says he gets in so many problems with the silver coin challenges on the city level. Yeah, there are some difficult silver coin challenges, so let's jump straight in, try and get through as much as we can. So there's a few times in the gameplay yesterday where people weren't aware of certain shortcuts or little tricks. One of them that not a lot of people are sometimes aware of is the fact you can actually use any of the speed pads in any of the vehicles. So for example, even though that one was on the floor, you can actually go and use those. So a little tip for those of you that are maybe new to the game or have not got a lot of experience in playing it. One thing that I always remember about the snow-themed worlds is it just reminds me of Christmas so much, especially because it was just after Christmas when I spent a lot of time playing Diddy Kong Racing. You know, that time period between Christmas and going back to school, where you basically had so much free time to be able to spend playing games and all of the new consoles that you got at Christmas. Well, Diddy Kong Racing was kind of one of those for me. I think I told the story before, but Diddy Kong Racing actually got from my sister was babysitting some kids who lived around the corner, and they got a Nintendo 64 and they had Diddy Kong Racing, and they lent it to us. I think we lent them, I think it was Doom 64, which at the time, considering they were quite young kids, I think they were maybe about 6 or 7, was maybe not the right thing to be doing. But they enjoyed it, so we had it for quite a long time. And it's always one of my favourite games since that day. So I'm just going to try and get a few quick races under my belt just to make some progress, and then I'll come back to the chat because I just noticed I went straight into the next race. So hopefully you're keeping yourselves amused and entertained whilst I just get through this race. Took that turn a little bit too early. There we go, that's another race. Let me jump back on the chat quick. Natural Mystic, good evening to you too. Stefan Grutzmacher. Did they grow up to be the Doomslayers? I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to those kids. Maybe I can find out. Cloud Strife says it's Christmas again. It definitely feels like it when this music is playing. Ben Rice says the Super Nintendo and the N64 are his favourite consoles. They're really good choices. Probably two of my favourite consoles as well. The Lurking says good old days of gaming. Definitely. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Completely screwed up that shortcut. But at least we're still in first place. Back to the chat we go. Michael Whiteley, what's the rarest game I own? I did have a PAL English version of the pretty cool game Shadowgate 64. The PAL English version's probably one of the more difficult games to get hold of. You can get hold of the Italian and French versions fairly easily, but for some reason the English language PAL version is tricky. Jacob Marcus says, Glenn, am I also nostalgic about 90s music? Kind of, yeah. Most of the bands that I like are from the 80s and 90s, so that's kind of the style that I like. What was I doing there? Lost my mind. If I'm going to screw up the race, I at least may as well use it as an opportunity to grab the key. Okay, so we'll redo that race because we were just, or my excuse is that we were just looking to get the key. There we go. That's more like it. Stefan Gruzmacher says, do I remember Wacky Wheels? It doesn't ring a bell all that much to me. So yeah, I can't say that one. Salvador says, what is the worst N64 game I've ever played? I always talk about the good, so it could be interesting to know. Superman 64 is the obvious choice to slate, really, because it's such a bad game. And it genuinely is. It's a terrible, terrible game. I mean, the beta version, that's actually better than the final game that they released. So that's another interesting point.
I challenge you to a race.
I always hated this Walrus. It's quite a long race. It's quite cool how it's all downhill though, but and again, no problem with the boss this time. JJD Gamer JJD Gamer 02. What's the best game on the N64? In my personal opinion, it's Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, but maybe somebody else in the chat section wants to tell you what their favourite N64 game is. Noble11 says he really likes Doom 64. The graphics still look pretty cool, and he likes the creepy ambient soundtrack.
I've got something special for you.
So where are we at?
Icicle Pyramid.
Icicle Pyramid. Okay. I was a little bit slow on the old reflexes there. Let's try and find Bumper, because he seems to be doing quite well and I feel like he's camping out somewhere. There we go. Got him. Okay, so that's Diddy down. Son of a... So all being well, I should have this completed in just a second. Got him. There we go. Noble 11 says Perfect Dark is a great game. Yeah, that's definitely one of the more popular N64 games. OMH20 says, would I say that I am a champion at this game? Not really. It's a game that I enjoy playing, but it's not a game that I'm sort of obsessed with, where I play it, you know, sort of try and do speed runs and all that type of thing. It's definitely a game that I'd say I'm fairly okay at. It's always difficult to play live on streaming because one little mistake can always be criticised. 16-bit Brick, good to see you too. 2 streams in 2 nights is always nice work. My wife is away skiing at the moment, so I found that I've had a bit more time on my hands to be able to spend streaming. So we'll move on to the silver coin challenges, always the most tedious part. Again, same tactic as yesterday. The first lap's going to be collecting as many coins as possible. Then the second lap and so on, that's going to be to basically try and get some the first place wrapped up. Okay, this is going to be a challenge now. I was a little bit slower, it took me a little bit longer to get the silver coins, trying to remember exactly where they all were. There's still a chance. Ah, definitely not when that happens. Nightmare. Okay, let's restart that. I'm not sure exactly what I did there. Or there. Terrible. Well, sometimes you got to do them ugly. Just like that one, really. Quinton Seville says he can never time the boost correctly in this game. Takes a little bit of practice. You know, taking your finger off the accelerate just before can be a little bit tricky. AKA Cole 1987 says he couldn't get into Castlevania. He doesn't know why it didn't grip him. Yeah, Castlevania, both of the Castlevania games on the N64 are quite divisive titles. You either love them or you hate them. Most people generally are not all that keen on them. I missed that coin over the side. I'm struggling to remember where the last token is. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to restart this one because I'm struggling to remember where the last token is on this map. Oh, it's there, of course it is. Okay, let's restart that. Now I know where they all are. JJD Gamer says, when did I start my channel? A couple of years ago now. Okay, now I've got to get some speed up, make some ground. There we go, second time lucky. AK Cole 1987 says the difficult part of experimental games back then was getting them published. Nowadays you don't need to impress a publisher, you can just publish it on Steam. That's a good point. You know, you think about some of the more unusual N64 games like say for example Space Station Silicon Valley. That's a game that was definitely really ahead of its time. Salvador says, how have I unlocked TT? I have. Back in the day when I was a kid, I spent many hours unlocking him. I don't have him unlocked on this cart, but maybe that's a whole nother stream on its own. So I'm just reminding myself exactly where all of the tokens are on this level because it's a little bit out of my mind at the moment. Okay. In fact, yeah, I'll restart. I don't have time. I don't think to get that back. There we go. Phrazy B says, am I going for 100%? Yeah, for this stream. 100% for the Adventure Mode 1. I don't think there's any need to do Adventure Mode 2. Jack Nolan says, the visual quality of the Ultra HDMI mod is so nice. He's never seen Diddy Kong Racing with textures so smooth. Yeah, it looks really good. I'm really happy with it. It was hard to get hold of, expensive. But if you're a big N64 fan, it's definitely a must-buy in my opinion. But for the casual fan, you might be better off getting something like a Framemeister as an alternative if you play multiple different consoles. So This one's one of the more straightforward silver coin challenges. I think the ones which are in the plane generally, they need to be a little bit easier than some of the kart-based races just because of the nature of trying to sort of handle the craft themselves. So this one was a nice straightforward race, at least compared to some of the other silver coin challenges. Quinton Seville says the S-Video is good if your TV supports it. Yeah, all of my older videos, they were all by S-Video. That's probably my second preferred choice, really. Kitsune Metal says his first N64 game has to be Super Mario 64, but the game that sold me on the system has to be Wave Race 64. Wave Race is an awesome game. JJD Gamer says, do I play the original Xbox or just the N64 outside my channel? I really like the original Xbox, but I don't have one. I'd like to get one again, actually. I really enjoyed, what game was it? Indiana Jones. I really enjoyed that. Okay, now this second Walrus race I think is going to be really difficult. I think I've messed this one up. I feel really bad because every time I come into a boss race, I always say I'm going to be expecting to struggle on it, and then I always complete it first time. Honestly, this is probably the first time I've gone through these bosses so easily. Stefan Gruzmacher says, what about Extreme G? I enjoy it. Definitely enjoy it. Klaus Drive says, thought that missile was going to hit, so did I. Yeah, I thought that was going to hit. Yeah, there's a lot of talk going on in the chat about the FrameMeister. It's a really good device. I think there's a lot of scalpers at the moment who've realised because I think they said they're not going to put them out of production, but I think they said they're going to put a hold on them for a bit. So it's a tricky one.
Everfrost Peak.
So whilst I start this trophy race, lots of people are asking or putting some suggestions forward for what other N64 games they'd like to have streams of. And so if you've got any suggestions or if there's any games that you'd like to see me do live streams of, let me know in the comment section. It'll be interesting to hear after we finish Diddy Kong Racing this week. Maybe next week I'll maybe find some time to be able to do some more streams. So if there's some games you want to see streamed, let me know, and I'll do my best to try and fit in some of the popular requests that people seem to be making. GoldenEye. Yeah, GoldenEye's a sort of popular choice. A lot of people seem to be wanting to see GoldenEye. If you're wondering what I'm reaching down for, the dog's just shown up. So this is not my dog, my Chihuahua. You have seen on other streams. This is my wife's sister's Chihuahua. So she's staying over with us at the moment. So say hello. So what about you guys? Do you guys have any pets? You can probably hear the dogs barking in the background as well now. So that white Chihuahua, that was Bella. My dog's Mikachu, for those of you that aren't already aware. She's the sort of older, greyer, multicoloured Chihuahua. Ah, terrible turn. A lot of people seem to always request Beetle Adventure Racing as well for live streams, which is a really good looking game. Really enjoy Beetle Adventure Racing. In fact, that's probably a game that I'd like to do, but a lot of people always dog on me for doing a lot of racing games, but you know, I really enjoy racing games. So generally speaking, it's the time of day when I just want to play a game where, you know, I can pick it up, play it, have a small gaming period, and not have to worry about huge big storylines or trying to remember the controls. It's generally with racing games, they're very straightforward, very similar. That's probably why these days I really struggle to play games which have got these, you know, huge storylines. And that generally seems to be what a lot of the modern games on things like PlayStation 1, Xbox, and some of the newer PC releases, they're just huge, like epic adventures like Elder Scrolls and all that type of thing. Fulio 1990 asks, what program am I running everything through to stream? I'm using the Elgato Game Capture HD software. So Game Capture, the actual software package that comes with it, because on a Mac, which is what my system is, very few well, it's a little bit more complicated, but something like OBS, which is probably the most popular streaming software, it doesn't detect certain capture cards. So generally speaking, it makes it easier as well. The actual Elgato software is not bad at all. I'm running a beta version of it at the moment. The official version is a little bit behind in terms of features, but I've got a test account with Elgato, so the software is actually, the beta version that I'm running at the moment is better than the sort of main released version that they've got for Mac at the moment. So fingers crossed they'll iron out a few more bugs in this beta version of the software, and then they'll release it to the public. There we go, so that's another world complete. Again, everyone looks like you're talking about ukulele again. So Fulio 1990, we were talking quite a bit yesterday about ukulele. Definitely really interested to see exactly how it turns out. I personally think it's going to be a really good game. From what I've seen so far, it looks really good. So that is this world complete. So let's find the exit. Let's move on to the forest type sort of place. Matt Worth says, hey Glenn, do you think you would ever make a video on Rare's cancelled N64 game Dinosaur Planet? Not really. I don't think I would, to be honest. The straightforward reason is generally I like to do videos about games which you can actually play. So generally speaking, I kind of stick to games that. So when I do episodes, for example, of the N64 beta project, normally it's because they're games you can actually play. But I've seen videos of it. I think maybe a year or two ago, somebody uploaded a video about it, and there was quite a lot of gameplay on there. So it's definitely an interesting game to look at. How did I do that? Need to concentrate more. Little mistakes. There we go. Cloud Strife says he'd forgotten about this music. Yeah, this particular music track is quite catchy. Dig Dug Dan says, which map or course is my favourite? I don't really have one, to be honest. Spaceport Alpha is quite a fun one. Noble 11 says he doesn't think he's heard this song for 11 years. It will all come back to you. That's the thing with games like this, if it's been so embedded in your childhood, normally as soon as you hear it, it all comes flooding back. there we go. Mr. Ouch says, did Kirby's Air Ride have an N64 DD released in Japan, or was it scrapped? That was scrapped. It was never released on the N64. The only Kirby game was Crystal Shards, which is not a bad game at all, really. It's actually better than I thought it would be. Yeah, Salvador says Greenwood Village has the hardest silver coin challenge. Definitely. In fact, Boulder Canyon is one of my favourites. This is one of my favourite courses in the entire game. Okay, tried to do that too quickly. I need to have a little bit more patience. So let me grab the balloon first. There we go. Okay, so let's just get this. So I'm going to carry on racing really just to warm up. So I've just got to send a quick message. So back to the race. JJD Gamer says, have you ever heard of Goosebumps? Yeah, I remember Goosebumps when I was a kid. Unless you're talking about something else, in which case I've got no idea. Blade Blur, hello. Thanks for tuning in as well. Random Assault Podcast says the book's the show, the game, or the board game. I think there was a movie for Goosebumps as well. So yeah, definitely need to bring back some nostalgia by checking that out again for sure. Dig Dug Dan says, so did I used to have the Xbox? Yeah, I've had every Xbox except for the Xbox One, which I'd still like to get. Rare Replay would be a game I'd be interested in checking out. But yeah, that's probably the only game on there that really sort of has a big appeal to me. So maybe when they drop down in price enough, I'll pick up an Xbox One just to do a review of Rare Replay, because I think it's quite relevant. Terrible. There we go. Lee Castle. I can't quite understand what you're asking, Lee Castle. Do Thark Than ever be a built in N64 like they've done with the others? I'm not too sure what you mean, I'm afraid. Andy Feliototti says the last level of this game is unreal hard. Are you talking about the first or the second time that you faced Whizpig?
Excellent. Now I challenge you to a race.
Oh, I've messed it up. I'm just going to restart already. I forgot it was a right hand turn instead of a left. That's a general theme with a lot of the bosses. As soon as you get ahead of them, then as long as you can stay there, then you should be pretty safe and dry. Is it me, or did these bosses seem a lot harder when you were younger? I remember this boss driving me crazy. Whereas now I'm like so far ahead I can do stupid stuff like that and he's still nowhere to be seen. Cuba, good to see you, Cuba. How are you today?
New challenge. Collect all the silver coins from my world. Find 8 from each level and win. Then come back and see me.
Toss Llama, good to see you. Hope you're well.
Smoky Cat.
What? How is this even possible? This has never happened to me before. I don't even know where to go, or if I can even get out. There's got to be a way to get out of the moat, surely. There we go, even with the huge mistake. Yeah, Jotum, dem physics. Okay, now we have the pain of having to do the silver coin challenges, which I always hate the silver coin challenges on this one.
Greenwood Village.
Terrible racing so far on this one. So let's restart. At least I know where they all are now. They've come back to my memory. Oh, I didn't need that to happen. Ah, I missed the pad. I really needed that. Okay, let's go again. Okay, that's one silver coin challenge down. Dandy Panty, that's correct. If you do collect 10 bananas, it does give you a speed boost. We talked about this yesterday. We said generally speaking though, with this game anyway, by the time you've collected 10 bananas, your race is pretty much over. Okay, so just to pause the game there, I've just noticed that Andy Felotiotti, I need to pronounce your name, but I just want to say thank you for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated. So I'm going to try and say your name again. It's Andy Feliocciotti or Totti Feliocci. Well, either way, I'm sorry for butchering your name, but again, really appreciate the super chat. So thanks very much for your donation. Maybe I'll put that towards getting a PlayStation 4 so I can stream some ukulele. Okay, so I'm going to restart this race because it was a bit of a mistake with some of where the coins were placed. So I just need to try and get my my mind back on track with exactly where the coins were, because it just evaded my mind for a moment or two. Okay, one more lap to go. If I can just stay focused, we should be good. Another silver coin challenge down. And I think you all know which silver coin challenge race I'm putting off till last because it's a nightmare. It's a really tricky race. So, a little bit worried about how many attempts that one's going to take. And I also need to avoid little mistakes like that as well, because that was just stupid. There we go. Getting closer there. Anto Retro Gamer says, back when Rareware was king, GoldenEye 007, Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong 64, Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo-Kazooie, You've forgotten Blast Core as well. Blast Core is a really, really cool game. Definitely a whole lot of fun. Vampire Rockstar says, what's my opinion on Diddy Kong Racing DS? We kind of touched on that yesterday. It was an interesting game, but one which I felt had a lot of problems with it. Most notably the horrific flag touchscreen forced feature. I really wasn't a fan of that particular. So for those of you that haven't guessed, I was putting off the Haunted Woods. That's one of the most difficult silver coin challenges, so I'm really not looking forward to how many attempts that one's going to take me in just a moment. Yes, really nice. So one more silver coin challenge to go. Well, Salvador, really appreciate your super chat as well. You asked the question, am I ever doing a meetup? Potentially. A lot of people ask me if I'm going to any of the expos this year. So potentially maybe in London. I think it's normally towards Eurogamer. Maybe not in Europe, but potentially in London. I think Play Expo in Manchester as well. So hope that answers your question. And again, thanks once more for the super chat. It's much appreciated. Just trying to get my scoping and bearings for where these coins are. I think I'm good now. Okay, so I'm going to restart this one just because I needed to get the bearings for the coins, and I think I should be okay now. Just need a little bit of a strategy as to which order and not to make mistakes like that. Okay, now we can race. little mistakes. So many little mistakes. Ah, really? Really? Always in the last bend. That's what I needed. That was actually a lot less painful than I was expecting. Cloud Strife says that he's got Snowball Kids on DS. I had it as well. Definitely no way near as good as either of the two N64 Snowball Kids games. I was really disappointed by it. There's also an Android Snowball Kids game as well. And a lot of people aren't aware, but there is actually a PlayStation 1 version of Snowball Kids, which is called Snowball Kids Plus, that has a little bit extra sort of music and so on. It's not a completely different game, but still cool to know nevertheless. But I've never actually seen the PlayStation version of Snowball Kids in person, so definitely want to check that one out. Oh, that was a cheap shot. I'm definitely making a dog's dinner of this boss fight. Making it a lot harder than it really needs to be. There we go. Made small work of that guy. Toss Llama. Let's have a look.
Excellent.
Yep, so you're just talking about the game there. Yeah, so AKA Cole brings up a good point. Anything aimed towards the UK market is generally quite expensive. Anto Retro Gamer says he's surprised I've not done a review of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's one of those games, like, firstly I need to get a lot of time available to play through it all, to get all of the footage that I need. But secondly, it's one of those games where I've got that much love for it. It's sometimes it's difficult to review certain games just because well, just really because of how much you like them. And I know it'll be a popular game when I eventually get around to reviewing it, and I know, you know, it'd get a lot of reviews and so on, but I don't know, maybe I'll do it soon. But generally speaking, I've always said it's my favourite game, so a lot of people are surprised I haven't reviewed it, but I don't know, I'll get around to it soon, I think. But yeah, just so many memories with that game. So we're just moving on to the Grand Prix, just to finish off the trophy race, and that will be the second of, well, in fact no, it'll be the third and fourth worlds which we've completed today. And then what I'll do is tomorrow we'll do the first Whiz Pig race, then we will do the Space World, and then we'll try to finish the game in tomorrow's stream with the second and final Whiz Pig race. Ah, that was a mistake. What just happened? What has just happened? Unbelievable. That's how quickly some things can change. Cloud Strife enjoying Forsaken. Forsaken's a very cool game. The PC version's probably the easiest to play, but yeah, the N64 version's not bad at all. How? There we go, that's how we do it. Always pushing to the end.
Windmill planes. Get ready! Go!
Terrible. Nice shot, if I don't say so myself.
Power up.
Nice loop over the finish line. AKA Cole, good night. Like I said, if you want to catch the last part of the stream, we're nearly finished for the night, but if you want to catch the rest of it, then by all means, give it a few hours and I'll probably have the recorded version uploaded and ready for viewing.
Lap 2. Final lap. Power up.
And that brings us to an end for today's stream. So we've completed 2 more worlds tonight. So the plan for the final part of the stream for tomorrow night is to have the first WizPig race, then complete the space world, and then go on to complete the second WizPig race. So we'll probably look at starting the same time tomorrow. But again, thanks for everybody for tuning in. As always, it's been a pleasure. And again, thanks to Salvador and Andy Feliociti, who have super chatted during the live stream tonight. So much appreciated. So we're going to end the stream there.